Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tennessee Twos Discgolf Podcast. My name is Daniel. Across from me is my co-host Ethan,
Hello.
and we're not going to waste too much time. We don't have a whole lot of time tonight. I personally am running out of time, and it also took us an hour just to get this live button to work. Thank you for NVIDIA, Stream Elements, and YouTube all doing an update the same exact day. We really appreciate it. 0%. Without further ado, why don't you give us our presenting sponsor?
Lone Star Disc is our presenting sponsor. Um, they are a company based out of Conroe, Texas. They are the only uh, current disc manufacturer that not only make, um, they manufacture, stamp, and ship its own product directly from Texas. Their main focus is to provide consistent and high quality discs to golfers all over the world. They've had a lot of new disc releases as of lately, and I know I've been seeing a lot of them on the social medias around the world, and
Oh yeah.
seems like they've been real big successes. Um, so that's good. I can't wait to get my hands on some of them. Uh, and yeah, we just want to say thank you and a huge shout out to Lone Star Disc.
Yeah. Appreciate you as always. For anybody who is joining us or watching the actual video feed, maybe some of you who have keen ears and are listening in the audio feed as well, you'll notice I am not in my normal location. I am actually in my own bedroom as opposed to my usual office. Um, and I'm streaming from my phone as opposed to from my desk. I have a pretty bad migraine right now. Um, and blue light from my computer screens are just a little bit too strong for me to look at. I've been looking at a screen all day at work, so I apologize for that. I also apologize that this is going to be a very, very short show. Like I said, we've already kind of struggled a lot with tech going throughout the day, and it's also my wife's birthday. So happy birthday to my wife. Really appreciate you letting us try to get this done and being extremely patient with us here. So we're going to try to get off of this real quick. So one more apology. We're gonna basically try to hit it and quit it here in about 20 minutes. All right. So with that being said, let's go right into what we missed last week. I guess one more apology. Sorry we missed you guys last week. Just a reminder that Ethan's about to become a dad himself, so he's got a lot of stuff going on, and he just had something come up that was just more important. So apologize for that. Without further ado, LVC. Let's start with MPO. Not sugarcoat too much of it. Kevin Jones had the lead going into the final round. Calvin
Um,
Heinberg.
let's so I yep, I know the audio listeners are like, wait, what's the hold up? So go right into it. I'm gonna try something different on my end, strictly for recording process. Um,
Yeah.
so when I tell you go, uh, go ahead and start off with welcome to LVC recap. Okay,
Sure. You got it.
go with that.
All right.
All right, let's try
Yeah.
that. In three, two, one.
Welcome to the LVC recap. To get it to hit it off real quick and easy. Um, in going into the final round, Kevin Jones had a slight lead over a few players, but he wasn't able to hold on down the stretch. He struggled to score well, especially in those severely heavy winds. And Calvin Heinberg ended up actually being able to chase him down after birdieing, three of the last seven holes, whereas Kevin Jones didn't birdie any of them and actually ended up taking a double bogey on the last hole. But he would have needed to keep a couple going in there. Coming up really, really sneakily from behind, Ezra Aderhold shot one of the hotter rounds of the day at 11 down, including an eagle. And that actually brought him up to a tied for second with Kevin Jones after taking that double on the end, trying to throw one in and send it to a playoff. So that was really exciting. Honorable mentions of a couple of players who played really well. Anthony Barella really had some really strong rounds out there, faltered a little bit at the end, only shot one down the final day, still ended up tied for eighth with Emerson Keith, who showed a lot of strength in his new bag. He also showed a lot of strength. We're not going to talk about it too much, but at the Concho tournament out there in Texas, that GK Pro covered. If you want to check that out, it's on GK Pro's website. But he's looking really, really confident with that bag.
Truly.
Definitely keep an eye out for him here in Waco, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Paul Macbeth, he played very well. Skipped LVC last year, so he looked very strong this year, considering that. And really kind of was putting on a little bit of a death run, until he faltered a little bit at hole 9 in that final round. But he had an opportunity if he had stayed clean, for
Yeah.
sure. Returning champion Drew Gibson, he had a really solid round as well, throwing a 9 down, a couple of really, really beautiful shots. I know we did talk about this, but I actually got Drew Gibson to respond to me on Twitter. That shot that he was throwing was a Halo Destroyer out there on what I think is hole 16, just so you are
Halo
aware. Because
Destroyer.
I know you were saying, man, it almost looks like an Axiom with how bright the rim
Yeah,
was on it.
and
Yeah,
it
Halo
did.
Destroyer, a new color.
Hmm.
I believe it's the new Tour Series colors this year. So, um,
Must be
yeah,
pretty
anything else
flippy.
you want to?
But I mean,
Yeah,
he's got ridiculous spin, so
so much spin rate, dude.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Anything you want to add on top of that?
No, not really. Just
All
congratulations
right.
to Vinny for pulling off a win this early in the season. Maybe this is the turning point in season.
I really love it. It's giving us an opportunity not to talk about Vinny like we did last year, where we are like, this
Yeah.
might be his breakout season, and then it was just second place, third place, second place, and we're like, oh no, it's happening again.
No, like this win right here will get us all the way through to Jonesboro before we even talk about Vinny needs to win again. Like that,
Yeah,
I'm satisfied.
absolutely. And just to round out any of the other honorable mentions that we could or should talk about, I will say that Kyle Klein looked much better for his season opener than he did last year. Hopefully, he's looking. He doesn't take until D-Glow to get it hot this year,
Right.
which is what it looks like right now. You want to give us the rapid fire of FPO?
We can. Um, so in FPO, we had the um reigning champ, right? Katrina
Yeah,
Allen.
returning champ,
Yep, returning champ, Katrina
defending.
Allen. Yeah, reigning, returning, defending. Katrina
The
Allen
terminology is
taking it
hard.
down. Yeah, words. Katrina Allen taking it down with a 20 under. She shot a even final round, but it was still enough to hold off a um, 5 down Missy Gannon and a 9 down Holland Hanley. Um, Holland was giving it everything she had out there,
Yep,
and it pushed her onto the podium. So,
a very very impressive push, especially with their new bag.
hmm yeah, no, Holland is kind of proven herself to be a force to be reckoned with this year. I truly do believe. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, that's not to overshadow Missy. Um, she played very well, very solid, pretty Missy like, very um, just steady, you know,
Would
steadily
you
good.
would you be willing to equate like Missy Gannon to being like the Nate Sexton or the Nate Safton, if you will, of
She's
FPO? She's almost got that like safe is good, smooth is far kind of element to
she
her.
does have that to her. She doesn't run a whole lot of stuff. She knows her game. She plays very safe and she lets other people make mistakes.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Uh,
I can see that actually. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
outside of the fact that obviously she's not so much of a forehand master. I think in terms of the way they approach the game is very very
yeah,
similar.
mindset wise. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, no, I agree. And then tied for fourth, you had Henna Blomroos and Ella Hansen at 13 down. At sixth place, you had Haley King, followed by Jessica Weiss and Owen Scoggins, Jennifer Allen, and I wanted to get to ninth place, tied with Jennifer Allen, was Caroline Henderson. Caroline
Nice.
Henderson, breakout player. Uh, Good tournament for her. Many of you have not seen or heard of her before. Um,
Yeah, possible first look at the rookie of the year, maybe.
Yep, that's someone to keep an eye on for sure. But yeah, so that's your FPO um, kind of uh, rapid fire round here. Um, any thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, the only thing at number one, I thought Ella Hansen played extremely well, especially in my opinion, comparatively to what we saw at All Stars. I thought she looked a little disconnected at All Stars, and she put it together. Put together some really decent rounds. I mean, she finished 13 down, only shot one down that final day. Haley King, she looked really good. She was a little over aggressive at times, and got her into some trouble. So she took some unnecessary bogeys, I would say. She cleans that up or gets on a course where you're not going to take stroke penalties for missing a little bit. She's going to be extremely dangerous. On Scoggins, still the best putter in FPO.
Yeah.
Not close.
No. Yeah, no. That's
Um,
pretty easy to say, I would say.
yeah. The other one thing that I will say is Kona Panis, now officially Kona Montgomery. She probably didn't have quite the final round or the last two rounds necessarily that she might like, but she played extremely well the first couple of rounds. Had
She
herself
did.
up. Her name was up in contention, and I think she's looking a lot better, a lot more confident than she was last year. So it's another one to keep an eye on. Just remember, she is somebody who has won at WACO before, so definitely keep an eye on her.
Yep.
Um, with that being said, the only other thing to really talk about outside of getting into some depth, which we're not going to do this week because of time constraints, um, I beat you in the pick six, so
That
I'm
is
1-0.
true.
You're gonna have to make a comeback this week.
Yep. Don't worry. Do not worry. It is going to happen. Um, and let's see. Do you want to do a week by week basis, I win, you win, or do you want to do a total score at the end of the year?
Let's do a
Week by week?
a total tally, but not let's not use any like strokes or points. You know how they kind of
Okay. Yeah.
just the win lose only.
Okay. I would prefer that. Um, so I'll give you the LVC. Um, I'll keep this here. Grip 6. Pick 6. LVC. E. E. Boom.
Yeah, and we'll keep track of that throughout the year. Maybe in the next week or two, we'll come up with a better something. And I'm thinking maybe one of us goes through kind of like our disc collections, see if we can find something in our collections that are interesting, and the winner gets to take the other person's disc up for grabs.
Yeah. Something like that.
A little pink slips on something.
Right. No,
Um,
I'm with that. Um, let's see here. So,
so before we get into Waco, we're gonna do like a 5 second coverage of Memorial and the Concho that we talked about before.
yeah.
I have no idea what FPO for Concho looked like. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't actually see the live scores. I only watched the broadcast. So just to give you guys a little bit of a rundown, um, in after basically one round, kind of your hot starts were Nico Emerson and Joel Freeman. And they all looked really good. Nico ended up falling off in the second round pretty bad, and he didn't have the best third round either to bring himself back, but it was more solid than the second round, definitely. So it ended up being basically a two-man race at the end between Emerson and Joel Freeman. And let me tell you, I don't know if you watched any of it. Um, Emerson might have got some of the worst like skips and rolls I've ever seen for a final round. I mean, that guy basically takes us down with a blindfold on if he gets a couple more better breaks.
Right.
Um, but a couple of those were his own doing. I'm going to be honest. Like you're playing in a hard pen. You're always expecting big skips. Sometimes he went with a little more aggressive line with a wider rim driver than Joel did. Joel basically outplayed him down towards the end. He played the shots that he needed to. Took down a really solid win. Also, I have to say, he did the commentary for GK Pro along with Casey White, and they were a really solid duo.
Yeah.
I know Joel Freeman kind of gets a lot of flack for his attitude and sometimes the way that he acts, but I really enjoyed his commentary. I'm not gonna lie.
That makes me want to go check it out. I will. Probably after this.
Yeah, definitely something to watch out for. Over at the Le Memorial, um, that one, I gotta be honest, Memorial just does not excite me at all. It
Yeah,
literally
is a
it
Heiser
took
fest.
it took just a ridiculous circumstance for me to actually watch the final round. And for those of you who don't know, the ridiculous circumstance is the fact that there was a five-way tie going into hole 17 that ended with a three-way tie going into a playoff between, and don't quote me if I'm wrong, but it was between Isaac Robinson, um,
Anthony
Anthony
Barella,
Barella, and Gannon
Gannon
Burr.
Burr. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, spoiler alert, um, Gannon Burr pulled it off.
Yep.
What the heck, man? He just goes out there like, man, I haven't thrown Prodigy Plastic like at all lately, and just a week later tears it up.
Mhm. Yeah. It's uh, it's gonna be. I I feel like this whole Prodigy Gannon thing is about to be swept under the rug. It's
Yeah,
it's
I'm
it's
I'm
my feeling on it.
uh, I don't think we're going to hear too much more about the litigation process. I'm pretty sure I think they're going to come to terms outside of the courtroom.
Yeah.
Number one, because it's the best for all parties.
Right. It's
Number
the
two, it's
only way that Prodigy wins.
yeah, and I wouldn't even say that they win. I just think
They just
it
don't
helps them save the
die.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't lose, or at least not as bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they haven't necessarily gone out of their way to spite Gannon. They've been very supportive of him on their social medias. They kind of did what they do. And so appreciative for that. They're still supporting him at least on the social front.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and that's a good thing to say. That's definitely a check mark on their side right now,
Right.
especially given everything that's going on. So, but also, big kudos to Gannon to go out there and have a great mindset, even in the midst of everything that's going on.
Yeah. That's it shows resiliency and maturity.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Again, I don't have the. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Owen Scoggins won really, really handily.
Right.
Um, I didn't actually watch too much of that. So, I know that, it ended up being a little bit controversial, being that her primary competitor up until the very end ended up being Natalie Ryan, of course. We're pretty famous right now for staying out of that conversation and letting smarter people than us do that conversation for us.
Right.
All I can say is, I mean, the rules are the rules, and I'm not going to necessarily argue that. I would like science to help us out along the way, but everybody has a different opinion, and it's just an argument that I don't particularly find myself injecting
Yep.
my views into it, because it's not constructive for me personally. But I do, at the very least, think that we need to continue treating people like human beings, and I continue to wish Natalie Ryan the best. And if she wins her cases and everything that's going on, I'll be glad to see her back on tour. But right now, it is what it is.
Yep. It
So
is what it is.
other than
Um,
that, don't at me.
don't at me. Um, so
Waco.
going into Waco, we'll do a little bit of course preview. So basically, nothing's changed. It is the same Bravos East. Um, it is a beast.
Yeah,
It's very wooded course. Um,
yeah, two or three changes, and all of them occurring outside of course design changes. So a
right.
couple of trees have fallen here and there that have made it easier. They've planted a couple of trees in places where trees had fallen in previous years.
Yep.
So it's not really a change. It's just something that they're doing.
Yep.
And a couple of baskets that weren't elevated last year will be elevated this year. That's literally it. All of the tees and pin placements are all identical. They haven't put any big trees in any fairways or anything weird like that. So it's, for the sake of the conversation, it's exactly the same as last year's course.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty much. Um, So, however, so our current WACO champions are Valerie Mondahano
Hmm.
and Paul Macbeth. Um, do you envision a repeat? Um, I don't know if Valerie is going to be playing or not. I know she is still uh signed up, but
Yeah.
I had seen uh somewhere where it said that she had dropped out, but her name is still on there.
So, if you get a chance, let me see if I can double check. So she is. Let me see. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
So I see.
I don't see a scheduled tea time, but I may have passed it.
No, I don't see it either.
Okay.
This
So
is the return of Paige Pierce though,
it
and
is,
Kristen
and
Tatar.
Tatar. Yeah, both of them will be making their season
Yeah.
debuts. I do not see Mandahano on
No.
there right now.
I thought
I
I'd
know that
seen
she
on
was
Instagram
registered up until
that
yesterday,
yeah.
but I have not. I checked Instagram yesterday. Was the last time I checked. And all I know from what I saw last night was an Instagram live where it looked like she did not have a boot on anymore, and that she was just wearing regular shoes,
Right.
socks. It looked pretty normal. But for anybody who's unaware, I mean, grade 3 ankle sprain is essentially a complete rupture of one or more of those ligaments down there. It's a 6 to 8 week
Yeah.
just to get walking normal again, and then it's another couple of weeks after that to be competitive. So, not surprised that she's not going to be out there this weekend if she is not.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so that kind of eliminates that possibility of a repeat, unfortunately. As for NPO repeat, entirely possible. I mean, one of the things we have to remember is that although the course is different and this is not such a viable thing anymore, we're still talking about a place where,
He shot 18
Paul
down.
Macbeth shot 18 down, and he did that missing two circle two putts and getting kicked off the fairway more than once. Um,
Yeah. No, it's entirely
so
possible to see a
just
repeat.
yeah, this is it's not like Deglow, right? It's not like where yeah, there are a couple holes out there that are basically like par is great,
Yeah.
right? There are a few holes out here that par is still really, really good, but every hole is birdieable, and there are still a couple of eagleable holes
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. It depends
Um,
on the wind. Truly.
yeah,
Um.
yeah, it really, really does. So, with that being said, I mean, you're talking about somebody who's definitely no stranger to winning at Waco last year. He's shot an 18 down there before. I have no problem calling him a favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with that. Um. So, with that being said, would you like to get into our Grip Six Pick Six?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
All right. So, I, um, I know that both of us are going to have Paul on there, just because he's the favorite going into this.
Yeah.
Um, and does Vinny winning LVC change your mind any a little bit about maybe motivation or like getting on a roll?
So my big thing is that um I really I haven't even thought too much about Vinny myself because I've already kind of picked my three guys. And
Yeah.
he's actually not on those three. Um my three right now as it stands are Paul, Ricky, and that's only because I really expect Ricky to want to start hot.
Right.
And it's not like last year where it's his first time playing dangerous lines in the winds with a new bag. It is purely, he's going to get out there. He's going to want to start hot, and then I'm going to go, Emerson Keith. Emerson Keith has always played well uh, in Waco, and he's actually already played the course with his new bag a couple of times,
Right.
including in a tournament round. So he looks really confident with that bag, and it's hard for me to get away from that. So those are going to be my 1, 2, 3s right now, and I think all of them have a good chance to actually win too.
Right. Um, so I ended up going with Paul, Gannon, and Chris. This is also the first time that we see Chris out. Um, I um, it's hard to go against Chris in the woods. Now I know he
Mhm.
hasn't had a whole lot of success at WACO, but um, just kind of going out on a limb,
Yep.
just a whim, you know. Um,
I mean, it's Chris in the trees,
yeah,
man. There's nothing wrong with that pick ever.
nothing at all. However, on FPO, um, Kristen is gonna be my number one, just because she is more than likely going to be on the podium regardless. So she's a pretty safe pick.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go with Holland Hanley because of the showing that she had at LVC. Plus, she has a very serviceable sidearm. Um, Scramble game is very good. And I almost went with Missy, strictly for the fact of kind of like what you had said was the safe play, safe way.
Yep.
Which in wooded courses that can really do you um, some service. But I went
Yes.
with a little bit more of the riskier side, and I went with Katrina, um, which that's odd hearing me say that that's a risk, but we know that Katrina, if she's throwing well, it's great. If
Yeah. Oh
she's
yeah. Absolutely.
not, um, then it could be a blunder out there. But
Yeah. No, I totally understand. Um, I'm going a little off the rails here.
no, yeah, you do you.
And this could really come back to bite me in the butt. But I'm not going to pick Kristen Tatar at all.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's gonna bite you in the butt.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go really wild card. I'm gonna pick Missy Gannon to win.
Okay.
As silly as this sounds, again, the Safety way is just there's nothing wrong out there, especially when you're talking about like 400 to 500 foot par fours.
Right.
People who play the numbers and percentages out on those courses tend to play very well. Um, so that's really out there. And then Owen Scoggins is a little bit of that same kind of player. So she's going to be in contention, if not actually kicking Missy out of the number one spot. And then I think Paige Hu is really disappointed with the way that she played last week,
Yeah.
and she's going to look to bounce back really hard. And I know they're going to have Grady out there this week with her, so she might be a little bit more comfortable than she was last week as well.
Love that pick. Love that
And
pick.
uh, you know, look, I'd be lying if I say I don't expect Tatar to, possibly win and at least finish top three. Um, but I kind of trust these picks a little bit. I'm taking a risk. I'm going to keep these picks. I'm going to lock that in.
Notice that neither one of us took Paige.
No, absolutely not. I we didn't see her at All Stars. We didn't see her at LVC. And let me tell you, the one thing I don't trust is a Paige that we haven't seen anything of in the woods.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to give you. It's just as likely that she wins it as she finishes outside of the top 10.
Right.
Those likelihoods are about the same percentage, I would say.
Yeah. Um.
So,
Yeah. Uh.
with that being said, wild card picks.
What did you do stroke wise? I did.
Um,
I did 54.
54. Well, let's see. So it's only 3 rounds. Ugh,
I'm guessing around
I don't.
30-ish down and 20-ish down. Um.
Yeah, I'd say if the wind really gets out there, 30 down is going to be great for MPO. FPO is going to be closer to 10, 15 down. So I'm gonna undercut you a little bit and go to 40, 45.
Yeah.
Um, let's go. Oh, we'll split the difference, 42.
There you go. Yeah, we're pretty far off there, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm at
yeah.
12 strokes.
This is gonna be rough. Now the one thing that gives me an opportunity here is even if Kristen wins, if Missy, Paige, and Owen still go 2-3-4,
Right.
I could still outscore you in the Grip 6.
Oh, you could. Because
So
Chris is technically my wild card. Um,
yeah,
it's we don't know. We
yeah,
just don't know, and we technically don't know about Kristen either.
yeah.
But
She's a safer bet in terms of a wild
yeah,
card in
exactly.
this scenario.
Yeah.
We got about 5 minutes left maximum on my side. What is your dark horse for FPO?
Dark horse for FPO is gonna be um. Let's see here. Who? Caroline Henderson.
It is still a dark horse. Enjoy it while you can, because the way she played last week, there's a chance she's not a dark horse by midseason.
Yep.
But it absolutely counts right now. I am gonna go Casey Pennington, and I don't know why, but I always feel like Casey, like we don't see her name all that often, but we do see her pop up on tour periodically. I always feel like she plays better in Texas than anywhere else.
Right.
So I'm kind of just going off that Casey Pennington to finish up there in a podium chance opportunity, maybe top 5.
Yeah.
What about MPO?
MPO. It's getting kind of hard. To name anyone a dark horse. Um.
Yeah.
However, uh, Fresnel looked really,
Oh my gosh.
really good at LVC.
Yeah.
Um. But that still doesn't tell me anything necessarily, and not enough. So,
That's fair enough.
um, I'm kind of leaning towards Hebenheimer.
He looked really good last week too, or 2 weeks ago as well, to be completely honest.
I would
Um,
love to see Hebenheimer do well. Um, that the name of him or his last name has stuck with that putt, the Hebenheimer,
but yeah,
and it has caught on. There is people saying it, and I am about it. Um, Sounds better
I'm
than
glad
the cornhole putt.
so much better. The Hebenheimer it is.
Yep.
We dubbed it the very first week. I take full credit. I don't care who says it.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, what, would you laugh at me if I picked Marky Chap for my
Hey, bro,
dark
get
horse?
it, Marky Chap. Let's go, buddy. Let's
'Cause
go.
I'm not picking him, but we are definitely checking his score next week just to see. My actual dark horse is actually going to be Grady Shue.
Okay. Okay.
I'm interested. We'll see. We'll see what he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It
It's
has
one of
been a
those. It's been a
while.
while. So watch out for ye old Grady Shue. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited about Waco.
I am so
This
much
is the
more excited. This is
tournament
the
that
real
I
start of the
get
season.
excited for. Like I'm here for it. That this Waco is exciting for me.
Yeah, yeah. It's the real start of the
It's
season.
where
Let's
you
be
get to
honest.
see like, okay, who's still rusty and who's dialed. You know what I mean? Like that's where it's at. And
Yeah.
I'm for it. So yeah.
All right. You want to wrap us up?
Yeah, I believe that's it. Thanks so much everybody for listening. We did about a 30-minute recording. We really appreciate everybody for listening. We will be back with you next week. Um, we're gonna be trying some different stuff. Some we've mentioned before, maybe some shorter episodes, some clips, some different kind of engagement in order to reach you.
Yep.
Um, so any and all support will be greatly appreciated while doing this. It's all on a trial basis. We will be trying to be much more consistent with everything. Thank you all for being as supportive as you have been. Me expecting my first kid is barreling down on me very quickly. Um, so I'm going to be
Whew.
playing some of this by ear. Um, However, we will make it through it, and we will definitely uh, still be providing content at some capacity. Um,
Oh, absolutely. There might
yep.
be some weeks where I end up pulling on some guests. I actually have a
Mhm.
bunch of people who are lined up to guest it up. So if I have to
Yep.
pull on some guests and and
Yep.
do what we need to do at the most basic level. We'll find a way to at least get some recordings out and hopefully hit live nine times out of 10.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
thanks again for being patient about last week and with this shorter than usual episode. Thanks again to our presenting sponsor, Lone Star Discs, for always supporting us greatly. We're really, really excited to come hang out with you guys at MCO, which is just a month away now.
Yep.
And yeah, thank you guys again for listening and being a part of this.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
and for anybody who decided to listen to this, I'm going to give you a little tidbit right here, okay? Tennessee Twos merch coming soon.
Woo. Until then, we'll see y'all on the next hole. Peace.
Peace.